What's going on, everybody? Don't adjust that dial. It is Nim. It is not time for Noom with Nim. It's not Cinema Crusaders. It is time for Music Crusaders. But by special request from my friend Caleb, and on behalf of my good friend, the Jefe El Mega, I am here to help host this episode of Music Crusaders. So, before we do this thing, I'm going to bring on the big time host, the man in charge of all of this. You know him, you love him, you may have even kissed him if you've been around him. I'm talking about none other than Caleb Taylor. How you doing, Caleb?
Hi. Hey.
You want to send out that good dating game smooch to everybody before we bring in our guests here? No, you're good. All right.
I'm fine.
All right. So our special guests here today on Music Crusaders, they are out of Virginia. They are a incredible band. I'm talking about none other than Pulses out of Virginia. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Everybody would say that too, but I have the mic.
Awesome. So I am going to facilitate this discussion here, but it is Caleb here who is really the music aficionado. I kind of just tag along and get drunk at concerts that we go to. So that's my role in the whole thing. So
it's a good role to have for sure.
So go ahead and let it rip the questions. And I got first before we get into that, I was sent this cool looking photo of the band here. So
oh, look at that. That's us. Thank you, Tyler Adlam, for shooting that.
Where's it taken at? Is this
this is outside of the Broadway in New York, in Brooklyn.
Is that why it has that sign that says Broadway?
Yeah. We had just got to the venue. We're like, we got to do a shoot because we're in New York. It's been a while, so.
I love it. The if y'all want to, you can pass around the mic and just reintroduce yourself and add in whatever you need.
Yeah. I'm Kevin. I play drums and write lyrics.
I'm Matt. I play guitar and do vocals.
I'm David. I play bass.
I'm also the fellow Caleb Taylor of the band. I do vocals and guitar as well.
Alrighty. If y'all wanting to go back and just rehash how y'all came together, or if y'all wanted to just jump into what's new, what's coming along, and what's the change, what's not.
We could skip the intro thing. I think we are a band that has released albums, and we are friends, actual friends, and that's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've dropped an album last year, and that's really important to us. It wasn't supposed to be like this. We're pretty proud of that one. It's like a really like fun smorgasbord of genre, and yeah, we like it a lot.
So for those of us who are filling in for others here, what genre of music are you guys rolling out?
It's post-hardcore, progressive post-hardcore type beat. One of the Fisher Price screamo. What else we got? A bunch of that's yeah. It's
elements.
Just a bunch of stuff shoved together, kind of.
Nice. You guys are eclectic metal, so
yeah.
That works. Yeah, totally works.
Groovy.
Yeah.
There's a good bit of groove going a lot of the time.
Alternative rock.
Nice. So, what is the name of your guys' album that's out? And I guess like I'm coming in cold, guys. So
Right.
check it out. Can I go check it out and listen to it? Is there a place where I can and buy it? Are you guys on Spotify or is there where I can get the physical album? And know-
Yes, sir. You can do all of that. So the latest record is it wasn't supposed to be like this. Came out last year around what, September, right? Yeah. You can get it anywhere you can get music. Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer if you want. Like YouTube. I mean whatever you like. Bandcamp is cool. We have CDs and vinyl available on our Bandcamp if you like the physical media, which is cool. The art's really cool, so getting a vinyl is sweet in my opinion. Also, it's money, so yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's a good record. I like it a lot, and it sounds like a lot of things. And hopefully, when you listen to it, you get a lot of positive emotions out of it.
For the vinyl, y'all only have the red with the white and black speckled. Is that
Yeah,
the main style? Okay.
yeah. Just for now, once we run out of that pressing or get low, then we'll probably do another one. But yeah, that's the only one right now.
Oh, burgundy.
Yeah, check this out. So I just pulled it up on my Spotify right now. So there it is.
Oh yeah, that's the instrumental version of it that we just dropped like last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Very cool.
Regular ones on there too. That's just the one
So-
without the yapping. Yeah, there's a regular one. Yeah.
Nice. So I mean, what does that feel like for you guys? I mean, I'm sure that at some point this was new for you. You guys are professionals now. You're wizened professionals, but at some point, it was new for you to see your stuff on Spotify and to get it pressed onto vinyl for the first time. What's that
Yeah,
like?
the vinyl's definitely still cool. I'm glad that the putting it on streaming services and everything has become easier since we started or since any of us were doing other things. But yeah, the vinyl's still cool. It's always cool to this was the first album that we got to do like a splatter on. I think all the pressings we did before that were just like color. So it's cool.
It's very
Oh yeah, we have a repress of the first album, Bouquet, with splatter, but it at the first pressing of it wasn't. So this was the first time we got something with cool extra colors in it and everything. So it's still cool. Yeah, and it's cool to see people buy it and post pictures of it with their setups and everything. It's cool.
So I write comic books and novels for a living. It's not a good living, but it's a living. And is it like the first time that you get something published where you're kind of looking at it, it doesn't seem real? Like someone calls you a writer.
I would imagine, yeah. It's probably the same kind of feeling, yeah.
They call you a musician. You're kind of looking around to see who they're talking about at first.
Yeah.
For the couple of years that I've been listening to y'all, it's been pretty cool to watch the growth because I don't even remember what I was looking up, but I was on Bandcamp going through and I came across y'all and I started listening to y'all. And then I don't know, a couple months later, I started working here and I was like, oh dude, I want to talk to these guys. And so since that time where I barely found y'all in some weird spot, I was just going through TikTok and someone was referencing y'all and saying you should listen to that. I was like, they're growing.
Yeah, it's been cool. Caleb, you want to talk about it? I was gonna say, is that one dude that was I listen. Yeah, he doesn't want to be drawn phobic. I'm gonna go listen to Swampcore. I'm just like, man. But that TikTok also had 1 million views, so I'm not gonna complain about genre names.
Because that was my thought too. I was like, well, that's not. But yeah, now I was gonna say something to y'all, but someone already brought it up to y'all, so I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Also interesting because there were a bunch of people. It was also just funny because they were people I haven't spoken to in so long and being like, hey, I saw y'all on this TikTok. Did anybody send this? I'm like, yeah. But I appreciate you reaching out after so long. But yeah, we've been seeing it. But we keep our ears to the streets if people are talking about us. At least we try to. We're extremely online to a fault.
So this is a concert you guys coming up soon?
Yeah. We got a couple shows coming up that we've got announced. Funny enough, it's just that's not even the next one that we're doing.
I think I assumed that this shit or wasn't going to come out quick enough because we have one coming up on Saturday,
The 18th,
or Sunday.
the
Sunday.
Punk Black
Yeah,
DMV
Punk Black.
Fest. It's the one
If it
where
comes out in
it
time,
shows
cool.
them standing up next to the mic.
Yeah, I've got that one too. Hold on, give me a second.
Either one. I mean, they're both worth showing for sure.
I think we're gonna try to show them all.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get that up there. There we go. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the next immediate show, at least being on Sunday, playing Punk Black, you know, putting on a bunch of bands that have you know, at least a black artist in it, or like, you know, person of color, and it'll be really cool to be a part of. We always love playing it. It's in Baltimore, and that's always like a favorite city to play in, so it will be a very cool thing to be a part of.
Very cool. Sir, can I ask you a question about that? So having
Yeah.
people of color as rockers. So
Yeah.
when I can't sleep at night, I like to watch reaction videos a lot, and you know, people are always shocked, you know, that they find out that they like rock. But one of the things that kills me, I'm curious if you've heard of this group. You know, I grew up in the I was a teenager in the 80s, and late 80s, early 90s, there was a rock band out of Detroit, all brothers, unbelievable, great, cool sounds. You guys ever hear of a Living Color that played?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I love it when people find that band, but I think that's cool, and I love that you guys like that concert you were talking about, because it's like, man, music's for everybody, whatever your color is, you know, depending on what you have in your soul, you know, what kind of music you want to make. But I love that that's starting to like change, and people are finding it, you know, and loving it no matter what. So that's cool. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I always love being a part of the representation, but you know, and then also, well, being a part of the representation when there was representation that influenced me to, or us, you know, Kevin and I, to get to be a part of it. You know, even our namesake coming from Let Live, and you know, a number of those members also being people of color. So you know, it's just always nice, like you say, you know, music's for everybody. You know, not a genre has, you know, a specific race to one another.
well, it's like I used to tell people all the time when we would talk about music, and they'd be like, oh, you know, back in the day when I was in high school, it's like, oh, you know, I'm black, I can't listen to rock music. Hey, man, it was like, don't you remember, you know, like the legends, you know, now I'm gonna blank on them, but Chuck Berry, you know, and Jimi Hendrix. I mean, come on, you know, it's like
Yeah.
they were pioneers in rock. So
Yeah, totally. And I mean, there's even, you know, more modern examples of it too, as throughout time, you know, people were referencing Howard Jones. I know, of course, from like Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah,
And like I was saying, like Jason Alon Butler from Let Live, and a number of other folks. So, you know, people out here, they're doing their thing, you know,
awesome.
and just be out there and supporting those as well. You know, as much as we want to support the past legends that paved the way, uh, it's a, I think we need to do our due diligence in recognizing the present legends too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. No disrespect intended. I was just like,
Oh
I
yeah, no.
history all the way through here, you know, and it's just like, you know, for all the people that think that you know, not only, you know, Asians, African Americans, Hispanic, they've all been there in rock and had their contributions, and it's cool. Like just look at the history and then keep going forward. You know, it's like I'm from Southern California, you know, and so we've got lots of Hispanic rock bands around here and stuff like that, and that we're into. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's dope. And then, you know, when everybody like from diverse backgrounds can kind of bring their own little their own unique perspectives to the music itself too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Over to you, Caleb. I'm sorry, I'm hogging the mic here, so.
Yeah, you got Coal Chamber, you got a slew of yeah, I had a couple more I can't even think of right now, but yeah, it's just music. Everyone's going to be able to do whatever they're feeling in their soul, you know. So if they're wanting to slam down and rock out, then they'll do that. If they want to just go and do piano bar, then they'll do that.
Yeah.
We're all capable of doing it. It's just wherever the hell you're standing, when you're wanting to do it.
Exactly.
But y'all got 2 more. What? So after Baltimore.
After Baltimore, actually, is the other one.
Yeah,
the first one.
Jer
Pollyanna.
September 1st. Oh, that's in Virginia.
Yeah, that's in
The Canal
Richmond.
Club.
Beloved
Still
spot.
Boy.
There you go.
Yeah. Great lineup. We've played shows with all of them before, so it's gonna be nice to just see them all again. Jer's a ska band, or Jer plays ska. Their band is like full of talented musicians. It's great to see them, and we toured with them a little bit before, did a few dates, so it's gonna be nice to see them again. Pollyanna is a cool punk band, just very like raucous sounding, and I like the crunchy guitars and all that. Steel Boy is a really cool band that's also from Richmond, local support. It's always good to, rock out with people that live in the area and make friends and whatnot. So it's going to be a really good time.
Ska band. Now you're singing my tune.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, we have a song with them too on the new record, or like the newest record, called "Them Phones," where they play horns on the song. So it's a good little ska punk crossover. So definitely, you'll probably dig that one.
I remember, just to throw out names, but I remember back in high school seeing a little house show down in Orange County, and it was these 2 little bands, Save Ferris and No Doubt, playing. So
oh, nice. No Doubt's I enjoy a lot of No Doubt songs.
It was really cool.
So that's September 1st, Richmond, Virginia, Canal Club. And then after that, you're going Woodland Creatures 4?
Yep. Woodland Creatures 4.
That's a tour.
Yeah, a little mini tour. A little run, if you will.
Pulses and Cat Company.
Yes. Very much a homie tour. The 4th time we've done Woodland Creatures with Wood Cells Ahead. It's like our tour at this point, like our little branding thing. And we decided to bring out Cat Company because they've been cool to us online, and very similar thinking as far as like the genre goes. So it's going to be a little fun time to play some really cool spots. So Alley Cat Records in Greenville. We got New Brooklyn Tavern, the new location since they just moved, in Columbia, South Carolina. We've got Will's Pub in Florida, Orlando, Florida. They've had us each Woodland Creatures, and we love going back because they're pretty cool. They're celebrating their 29th anniversary, I believe, the same day. So yeah, it's gonna be super cool. And then the Almighty Masquerade in Atlanta, legendary spot. So stoked to be able to play there.
Very cool. So do you guys stay usually on the East Coast, or do you ever make trips out here out to the West? So
we like to make a trip out there. It is expensive. So, with no backing, like signing or like even a booking agent, we're kind of at the mercy of a larger band that would want to take us out on tour, and one has not come knocking yet. So until then, we're going to kind of figure out what we can do. We definitely want to get over there regardless, but it may be we got to fly out and do like 3 days or something. But yeah, we'll figure it out. That's a next year goal for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of logistics involved when you're kind of fronting it yourself. You gotta make sure you
getting across the literal other side of the country is difficult. Yeah,
So-
PTO is like David mentioned is also difficult to work with. So
understandable.
you hear me complain about lugging around boxes of books and comics to conventions, Caleb. You could tell me to shut up. So yeah.
I can't even, because y'all wouldn't really want to fly, right? Because would that be more expensive since you have all your?
It would be faster. which would save money, like David was saying, PTO, or like I don't have PTO, so like just time away from work. And then, but then the problem then is then you have to either rent gear there or fly your gear. Like we would have to fly. We have a rig that we use for our in-ears and our tracks and our amps run into it and everything that we would have to fly out, which we'd have to get a flight case for, and that's a whole expensive thing. And then you have renting a van, and then gas out there, as I'm sure you know, being from Southern California, is very high. So there's a lot of expenses once you get over there, and then flying back. And it's like I've looked at flights to like LA before. It is like very expensive. So it's just it would probably be cheaper, and then we wouldn't have to drive all the way across the country, or maybe I don't know. I think it evens out, but it's less time, so you could work more around it. So it's either way, it's expensive and difficult, and
You may have to do like
we just need a band to take us on tour and get a decent enough guarantee that we can like come back with money to pay our bills in addition to paying for being on the tour. And unfortunately, there is not a lot of money in the screamy music genre. So, but we'll see. We'll get over there eventually. It'll happen. It's a when, not a if.
Yeah, we're gonna have to drive into Palm Springs and go beat the people up that run Coachella and get them to book these guys.
Yeah, we'll fly out for Coachella if that's the we'll do that. But I'm not not loose on there. They got military gun on there. They got Scowl on there. They're putting on yelly bands.
Burning Man, Coachella, do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I got here. So let me throw up this banner real quick. Oh, let me present this. So people can find you on X here.
Yeah. X, Twitter, whatever you call it. Pulses VA. We're on Pulses VA on everything.
Muscoville.
It's Pulses VA, pulsesva.com too. Yeah.
And then let's see. You guys got the Instagram.
Yeah, that's funny. I tweeted a meme. Like, so this is very funny that like that screenshot didn't have that meme in it. So
all right. I go look.
See, I didn't realize you even did that. I finally implemented on my phone the screen time. I am allowing myself 1 minute on Twitter a day. I said I'm done, but I don't want to delete the app. Oh, yep. That makes a whole lot of sense.
And then let's see. You guys got the Instagram going on.
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat what you said? If you did say something there.
No, he was just saying that the Instagram.
Yeah, same thing. Pulses VA, right?
There are less bad posts on the Instagram. What were you saying, David? He said Instagram is family friendly, more or less.
You could look at it as there's actually less good posts on Instagram too.
I mean, yeah.
And then finally, let's see. I've got you guys' website here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, so we have a Facebook. Don't bother checking it. It's not worth it. It's a dead site.
Okay.
but yeah, this is our little website. Just easy way to get to whatever we got going on. So we have a Discord. We share it with the besties with Sales Ahead. It's Woodland Creatures, all day. So come in there if you want to hang out and get some like factoids and stuff, exclusive things.
Check that out.
But yeah, the website's got everything.
Apple Music, got it all.
That's actually how I even got. I was like, why am I in this Discord group? I'm like, oh shit, that's oh, that's everybody. And I clicked on it. I saw the woodland creatures. And I'm like, oh, God, I got to talk to him. I don't know why I'm so like talking today. I'm throwing my hands up all the time.
And everybody who's checking this out, go check that out.
Yeah.
I will throw the links up in the description when this goes live, or I'll have Al do that. But hey, you guys are ahead of the game. You got a website going. Mine is a dead site.
That's okay. It doesn't have to be like all that special. I feel like a website these days is more just like an aggregate of links. Like, unless you like have like a true creative like spirit with it and no coding or want to pay somebody to code, then yeah. I mean, ours is simple. Like I do most of that design work and whatnot, but most people I feel like just need a place to click to other places these days. So
how long you guys been doing this together, like as a band?
we are coming up on 10 years next year. Matt wasn't in it all the whole time, but it doesn't matter.
I'm coming up on, I think I'm on 6 or 7, something like that. So I'm over half at least. But
yeah, but 10 years, something like that.
Very cool. Very cool. So you guys have outlived most marriages, so.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
The long
I feel like
haul.
it's only because we like each other. So, yeah.
Have y'all started, or how soon after releasing like the newest album, how much time has passed before y'all started thinking about collecting material for the next one, or y'all just wait until y'all start getting a lot of inspiration and then you're like, hey guys, this is what I've got, what you got, and you start?
I mean, to be honest, I want to say like things started even before the album came out. Kind of, we're always working on.
Yeah, it's always growing and going.
Yeah, it's like we're always working on new things. Literally, the only thing that will keep us behind is time. Because of course, just the whole existing as a human being outside of it and working under capitalism. It prevents us from. Where are you going, David? I was gonna pass it to you. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, because literally it's like we're working on a lot of new music, and then we're doing all these shows, trying to organize a tour and everything. So then we had to put some of the new music a little bit on the back burner, but it's always on the mind. And then everything we do is pretty much in-house at this point. I do all like the engineering and mixing for it, and we send it off to get mastered. So we're not on anybody else's timetable but our own.
Yeah.
But David, your turn.
for what?
For the questions.
Talk about what's our music been? What we've been working on? Well, don't give too much away though.
Talk about your mustache routine.
Like how we come up with our. I mean, so a lot of times someone writes a riff and then someone else, usually me, explodes that riff up into like an annoying amount of time, and then someone else comes in and kind of adds in their parts, and then makes a more cohesive idea out of the two ideas that kind of come together. I'd say that's more or less the process. And then we'll have a running aggregate of songs as we've released each album. They kind of all shift. So the kind of B-sides are the ones we're not really happy with yet. We'll kind of roll over into the next album cycle, and we'll figure out which ones we like out of that. If we like any of them, or scrap them or integrate them into other songs, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of just people throwing things into, because we all write like a good amount, so it's like we all just kind of throw things into a folder until it has a lot, and then we kind of be like, all right, these kind of fit together, these don't. Like, do we want to put these on an album? Do we want to put these on a EP or single? Or
when you say right,
extra,
are you actually like jotting down the notes?
We write in Guitar Pro, so it's kind of that, but just a digital version. So yeah, I mean, we should start. We're gonna start writing with like a quill pen and ink and everything. No, but
The candle.
But no, yeah, it's all we write it in that, and that helps for like when we get to recording, we can just like throw the MIDI in our recording software and then just record to that. So that's easier. And then when we release tabs, we have them because we wrote them that way.
I just recently like rewatched Mozart, so that was just on my.
Oh yeah,
is that what you were doing the whole time? You just had a whole bunch of different sheets and just.
Yeah.
I forgot. I assume. Well, since you went to school for composition, I forgot. Even I know at least for me, when I was doing like music theory in high school, I did like a AP music theory course, and then so I did have to write like sheet music and everything by hand. That shit sucked.
Yeah, no, I had a professor in college. I have like Caleb said, I have a degree in music composition, and I had a professor that was like, you have to be able to make your handwritten scores look like a printing press, because you might have to handwrite something before a session and give it to a musician. So he like would hammer us on like we'd turn in a piece of music and he'd grade like the writing and the composition, but also like how good it looked, and like every note had to be identical, and like it was terrible. But yeah, so we don't do that, luckily. But maybe we should.
You guys are talking about like B-sides and album composition and stuff. So like fairly recently, there hasn't been like they haven't been pressing albums and stuff like that, or have B-sides on vinyl, on an LP, or on a cassette. So now that you guys are doing that, what is the thinking behind doing that? Do you guys actually sit up and think like, we want the A side to have these songs on it and kind of tell this?
Oh, like on the yeah, we definitely think about it. Kevin's usually like I'll pass it to him in a second. He's usually the one who sequences the record. That's what I was looking for. Sequencing. He's the sequencing guy. But we have to honestly, all of our records are under like a certain amount of time because we don't want to have to press 2 vinyls because it's expensive. Yeah. So it comes into play in more ways than you'd think it would. But
it's hard to keep people's attention that long as well.
Yeah,
like
I mean it is, but
album,
I don't.
Like a lot of people.
I'm just gonna be frank. Like I know the talk is like, oh, albums are getting out of phase, and we're all about singles. I don't give a fuck what people think.
No, I agree. Like I love them. I think they sound great.
It's albums. Albums are cool. I love albums. I was raised on albums. I'm gonna listen to albums till the day I die. Yeah. So it's just like, I like a good A side. It's got like all like the bangers up front. The things that you like, the things that you want people to hit because they have a short attention span. And you put like all the deep cuts on the B side of a record. The things that are like introspective, emotional, like the journey. Feels good when you get to them. So I like making a track list that does that, and I feel like we accomplished that. But then we have songs that didn't make the record, and those are like extra cuts that we want to eventually just put out and just say like, hey, this is not necessarily stuff that's like scraps, but just stuff that just didn't work in the context of like the theme of the record, like proper. So those will come at some point, I'm sure, because we can do what we want. It's our rules.
I remember like in high school, my friend when he would flip over, and put on side B of his Pink Floyd albums, it was like that was the Deep Thoughts, moment.
Yeah, I feel like our records a lot of the time it's like again like Kevin usually sequences them, so they like we get like those couple bangers up front, and then you get like a kind of a little bit of maybe a more introspective moment, but then like the back half, like Kevin was saying, it's like track 9 and 10 and 11 are usually like a little moodier, a little more like thoughtful. And we've done a lot of just big long closing tracks that are usually a little slower, but I think next time we're gonna switch it up and do like a banger to close it out, just to just to like switch things up. But
do you guys like to experiment with stuff, like do different stuff sometimes?
Yeah, I mean pretty much every song we write is like, what if this plus this, and then comes out as something unique, hopefully. Yeah, like we've done on the newest record, there's a post-hardcore mixed with New Jack Swing song. There's a post-hardcore mixed with ska song. There's a post-hardcore mixed with what's another one? UK garage like stuff. So yeah, so we're always just mixing genres into the canvas that is post-hardcore, kind of just
Do you mind if I ask a question of personal interest? Who's the drummer in the band here? Awesome.
That would be me.
So my parents were both music teachers, but it was all classical music, and it got like shoved on me so much that I went and became a writer instead. But when you are doing your drum parts for the songs, how do you do that? Does everybody else write the music first and then you write the rhythm section to go with it? Or do you come up with the rhythm first that everyone builds on? How does that work? So, because I've never been part of that process or seen that process before. I've only done classical. So.
I feel like everybody does it a different way, but at least the way that we do it is a lot of the times the riffs are there first. So I'll write my drum parts to the riffs and kind of like form around them. Because like I feel like, at least for me, I'm not like a flashy drummer. I feel like I just like the pocket and I like making something that works for the song more than anything. So, you know, if a riff has a certain like feel to it, I just want to make sure I like maximize that feel. So I'll write a drum part that like just plays to the strength of the riff, that like whatever rhythm the riff has, I really want it to like come forward.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, because like my favorite parts are always drum. Like I'm kind of strange this way, but I like drums and bass, you know?
Yeah.
So I love, like, to me, that's
We have a
not it, but
we
I'm
have a
wondering-
lot of good bass lines, I think. Honestly, it's like I'll give this to David here in a sec so he can talk about his bass, because I would like to hear it too. But I think we have a really good bass section in the band, and it's different than everybody else in our genre that's related to us, and I think he deserves a lot of props.
Yeah, I mean, so our rhythm section, I think it comes from a lot of our musical backgrounds. We all listen to music that had very heavy emphasis on drums and bass. I grew up on like Rush and Mudvayne and all these bands that had the bassist and the drummer were honestly the most talented people in the band. And so coming in and not to give the guitarists and singers credit, granted, but like that lays the foundation, and then our guitars help to supplement the foundation, and they add embellishments and creativity on top of the foundation that me and Kevin put down, I think, a lot of times. So it's always that ever-present battle of making sure everything can be heard. So
that's really cool.
And then also just to gas him up a little bit too, David is very good at like, I feel like anytime we have something written that like Caleb or I started to, it's like David's bass parts are never conventional. Like they're never, I mean, they are when they like need to be, but like a lot of the time it's like there'll be things where I'm like, I would have never thought of that in any, but it's like the sickest part of the like section of the song. So it's like the creativity, and same with Kevin on the drum parts. Like I know one big thing with you is the no double kick. So it forces you to like play parts that a lot of drummers would just default to like following with the kicks, like in more unique ways. So I think just having a very unique take on the rhythm section of this band, like it makes the songs stand out, and it like David was saying, like lets us kind of just elevate that on top of it and everything. So it's a cool dynamic we got going. I don't think any like part of this band sounds the way it does without like all four of us having these like weird little kind of quirks to our parts.
That's cool though.
I'd back up that thought, like, because ever since I started listening to y'all, there's always been like a good mesh of just consistency and like quality. It's always been there. And then like y'all have maintained it instead of letting someone's ego take hold or something like that. Like it's always like this is like everybody, it's equal parts across the board. And and you can really tell because nothing's empty. There's always like you feel good across the board. And it kind of makes me think of like when you talk to someone, you can kind of gauge how much they really care about music, because if they're focusing on the superficial with like the vocals or like the lead guitars more so than anything else, that means they're just more so they're just hearing what they're wanting, you know, the flashy stuff. And like people that are actually like really involved in it, they want to talk about the rhythm. They want, because like I've heard songs where they dumbed it down to where it's like incredibly simple bass, simple drums to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then put in the original, and like there's a massive difference. You can't take that stuff out.
That's a big thing with
and
I know
a lot of talent.
Caleb. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it. There was just it's surprisingly like because there's some stigma about like bassist and drums, like it always gets in the backdrop of, but like you really don't realize how critical they are to really like you were saying, they're a great low light to the front.
Yeah,
and it carries the tune and keeps you going and keeps it like you can feel that thump going and like keeping that drive, keeping that foot pushing forward, you know.
Yeah, and I know like Caleb can speak on this too, but I know Caleb and I, like as guitar players, are both like not guitar music people. Like we like guitar music with guitars, but not like guitarist music, like shred guitar stuff. So it's like a lot of our guitar parts end up being kind of complicated and everything, but it's like I'm perfectly content playing something simple as long as it's really whatever serves the song the best. And I think we all have that mentality, and that is what, at least to us, makes the songs good, because we're just like, well, what do we want to hear in a song? Like it doesn't have to, it's not about anybody's flashy performance, even though
you're not trying to force like, man, we gotta give them the guitar solo.
Yeah,
no, dude, if it's not there, it's not there. You're not just gonna force in a guitar solo and make it sound great. Like
yeah, no. And speaking of guitar solos, I don't like guitar solos. we have two.
No, Caleb and I wrote
it.
we only have two.
Yeah, don't do
I've never really been
a
a fan of it. No. Huh? Oh yeah, there was we just played a show. It was like a DIY show on Sunday, and then all the kids came up to me while I was doing like this part in the song You Already Know, where it's like just me, and then so they were coming up doing the whole like thing, and then in my head I'm just like, y'all too close, get away from me.
Why you put this pressure?
So I'm just like,
So you say if like
is that?
There's no 30-minute Neil Peart drum solo going on where you guys go and take a break and smoke a cig?
I'd rather hear a drum solo than a guitar solo.
I was like, I have a drum solo live now, but it's not even really like a good one. I change it every night. Like it's like I'm just playing to the beat for like 30 seconds that we have over our backing tracks. It's fun. I like doing it, but I mean, it's just like I don't think I would ever write a drum solo in a song, just because I don't think we need one. But I don't know. Neil Peart's great drummer, like total inspiration. Like David said, he grew up on Rush, and me learning drums, I played a lot of Rock Band with Neil Peart drum parts in the songs and stuff, and so I have a big appreciation for the paradiddle because of him. So anyway, no solos, but
you're still playing.
I like drum solos. He hates guitar solos though.
Since you're still playing,
That's all I was saying. I like drum solos more than guitar solos.
Yeah,
they need to start with a bass solo.
I'd rather hear a bass solo too, because it's just like, but a little bit less so. I don't know. I'm just a very rhythmic. I guess Appetizer does have a bass solo technically, but like, I'm always just a rhythm guy. I like rhythms a lot, and that had me thinking when you were talking about before when it comes to like our song like Run the Ghouls, on how like actually little melodic parts there are on that song and everything. And I think that's one of those prime examples of us all kind of just like, again, locking in on getting the rhythms down. Even like the guitarists, both of us, for the verses, the most melodic part during the verses is the bass and everything. So yeah, just things like that are important, I know, to me. And I think again, it comes out in the songs from all of us, because we all just get in sync like that at this point. We've been doing it like he was saying, for nearly 10 years, and it's at this point now where we feel completely comfortable and trust in each other, to bring something to the table, whether it be for their own parts or for others.
When you're doing songs, do y'all do a lot of y'all try to kind of keep it all within one area of like what type of instrument you're using. Like I know like different guitars give you different sounds and or different amps and such like that. So do y'all try to gear it towards like, hey, I use this guitar on these 3 songs and try to make more off of that? You just kind of going with whatever, like if it, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, no, yeah, no. I mean, I think more so lately now we're getting more like getting variety in. So I know even especially like when we were earlier on, like especially for our like first record. Damn, not that guitar. It isn't on anything. I don't know. Like ever since we started recording ourselves, that's allowed us the time to really hone in and choose specifically what we want to use and for different parts, whether it be different guitars or like programming in or finding other people to play different instruments, like we were saying, on the ska song, getting Jared to do horns, and we have other songs that we like wrote our own horns, or we've literally gone on Fiverr and just hired musicians on there to play like live instrument parts that we wrote, or sometimes they'll write them themselves. Like I know on the song Yo Champ in the Making has a bassoon part, and that's on there just because why not?
That's cool as hell. That is cool as hell.
So, and then, but yeah, even compared to like our first record, it's like I use one guitar on that the whole time. I use like, generally one type of, distorted tone and maybe a one type of clean tone. Even if there aren't even that many clean tones on like, especially that first record. So yeah, just like I said, having the freedom to have our own time to be able to hone in things has allowed us to just find something that works for whatever the task is.
Yeah. To catch that sound that you're like, I feel like it's missing this, and like you jump over to try to capture that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like, especially on this last record, we really started messing around with different guitars and stuff too, because it's like, Caleb's, you're becoming more of a multiple guitar.
I'm good now. I was like, I'm good now.
Yeah. I only need one. I need one more that is a duplicate of my main one, and then I think I'm good for a while. But it's like I got a bunch of different stuff that all sounds different. And now Caleb has a couple to match some of those that we can use. If he's going to record things separately than me and everything. But we're using a lot more like single guitars with single coils in them, guitars with like using the different on a Strat, using like all 5 of the pickup selectors, because most people just use the neck one or the bridge one. It's like we used the in-between ones on a couple songs in the last like sessions and everything. So been getting into a lot more of that and like trying to just create different kind of sounding parts and like soundscapes and everything in different tones. David's on his one bass. But you're doing a lot of pedals though. You got a lot of
I use a lot of pedals, but I've had one bass for the entirety of the band. So
gotta go back up at some point just for touring purposes. But yeah, David's got that one bass. It was trusty.
Is it wrong that I might
yeah.
hear you guys play with a harpsichord going in the background or something like that?
We do have a harpsichord on Ask a Unk. There's harpsichord in the chorus.
Very cool. Very
yeah. I think at this point we're just gonna start like pulling up like those things you'd see in like music books for kids that have like every instrument in the band. Yeah, and just start throwing darts at it and picking. Didgeridoo would be sick. Yeah. We'll gotta put something. But yeah.
You're gonna get one of those people that play
Do they have
an Andy nose flute or something on one of your tracks?
I'm trying to put a theremin on.
There you go.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We did on something that we just recorded. We did. It sounds almost like a theremin. We did like the Tom Morello guitar like whammy like scratching thing that's supposed to sound like a like scratching a turntable. And you did it with you both all 3 of us did it, I think with the we used that was cool. Yeah, we used like a screwdriver held a screwdriver over the pickups, and it makes crazy sounds. I was gonna say you were using for like the slide part of it. You were using that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle dagger, that plastic, scraping it on the string. So we're that and this.
Oh yeah.
Those were instruments or tools
I
to
wonder,
manipulate the instrument. So
like I said,
we're always doing weird shit. I don't know.
when I
It gets boring just playing guitar.
Are you just holding it there, or are you sliding it up?
For the
drill?
that it was like sliding it. Yeah.
What about the drill?
Yeah. That was just holding it up to the pickups, because pickups are magnetic, so it gets the like
Oh,
that sound, but like through the magnets, like catching the metal spinning, and so it sounds different than it sounds. It's cool.
oh,
So
nice.
Yeah.
Do y'all do anything
Yeah.
with the vocals then too? Do y'all do like have anything attached to alter your voice a little bit?
have we done any weird vocal effects? I mean, other than like pitching stuff down and like pitching stuff up, I don't know that we've done any.
I know it's not that weird, but I know the most recent thing, literally on that same song he was just talking about, we recorded Kevin's partner Taylor through FaceTime through a mic into the computer. So instead of like, you put on the phone filter like with the EQ in the computer, we're just like, no, just take it directly from the FaceTime audio, and it already sounds like it's baked in, and it works for the part.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't really done any crazy vocal stuff. That's probably gonna happen at some point, I'm sure. But
Because I was watching this little, like, not really a documentary. It's just I think it was like the engineer for the Strokes, and he was talking about he I forgot who it was, but he liked some punk band that had used I can't remember exactly what it was, but essentially like a pedal or an amp or something that for their guitars and stuff, and he geared it towards the vocals, and then like he was. If you know more, then go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just like, I think I've seen that same kind of deal, because that was the sound that they were going for, that very like distorted kind of vocal sound.
Yeah.
Funny enough, now that I think about it, I did do kind of something like that in our song Kupo on like the latest record. During the screams, I just wanted it to sound like a little more like aggressive and like almost staticky. So I know I threw in a layer, like, so I just basically made a send of like the main vocal, and I think I put it through like a guitar amp or something like that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you may not know what a send is. A send some audio some other place. Yeah, Kevin was saying, yeah, that's what a send is. But basically it's just making it so it's basically just a copy of that audio. So I think I did run it through like a guitar amp of some sort, and then I, did some other processing with it, and that's how you get that little kind of under layer of almost staticky sound, just to make it sound just more aggressive under it. I mean, there's all the time sometimes where, especially if you have no disrespect to some people, if you have a bad screamer, people will run scream vocals through a guitar amp.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
we also, I just remember, we do have not our vocals, but we do have like a Tom and Jerry scream in one of those songs.
Oh,
Is that what you
nice.
were gonna say? Yeah, one of those. Yeah. We got two of those in Heaven or Helvetica. The song he was talking about, Kupo. It's like I also put some like I found some like horror movie like screams.
You need
put
to
them
do
in
the
the
Wilhelm
background.
scream.
Yeah,
Introduce the
should put that
scene.
in there somewhere. We did put on not on the album, but the single that came before the album has the like Navi from
Oh yeah.
all the listen.
Yeah. Wait.
Which has been used in a million things, but that I heard it and I was like, that I'm taking that and putting it in there. So
Yeah,
we got a lot of little. Huh?
It's seared in my brain because she says it all the
Yeah.
time. Listen, no. I don't want to. We're moving forward. My son just
Well, I
started.
think I put
playing
hay
it
in there. I don't think I put the
Switch.
listen in there, but the hay is in there at least.
Hey. Yeah. there's a lot that you can do with those things. I spaced.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Now I'm thinking about
Yeah,
Zelda.
all Easter eggs. We got the fitness gram pacer test voice and beat in a
Nice.
song too. We got a bunch of stuff. Just that's like one of the last steps in writing the songs. Is just me going in there and them being like, all right, put this like bullshit sound in there, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coach.
But, yeah.
It's getting to be that time, Caleb.
No. Well, so Kevin, you are you adding more toms or something just to keep pace with the changing instruments?
Nope.
Or more
There is one Tom and there's a second Tom, and that's it. 2 Toms. That's it.
Oh.
2 Tom Jones is what they call
Two-
me. They
is
don't
that
call
it?
me that.
You know, 2 Tom Jones. You don't need nothing else.
2 Tom Jones.
He will
It's not
fight you if
unusual.
you suggest it. Well, all right, fellas. Is there anything else you feel like needs to be brought up? More towards
Not in
down the
particular.
pipe, or
Yeah, I mean, just follow us. We're putting out some new music soon. We got a cover on the way. We got some more B-side tracks that didn't make the record on the way.
are you
We
going to
got
be
some live shows on the way.
are you going to be playing any new material in these concerts coming up? Or
Just songs from the record. You know, the one that just came out. Should be at least like 3 or 4. We'll see. We haven't fully decided the set list yet, but at least 3 of the songs off the latest record. So, yeah, and we got some more dates that haven't been announced yet that we're stoked about in December. So, yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Follow Pulses, listen to Pulses, talk about Pulses.
do it. Don't even question.
Awesome. So that is Pulses, everybody. Thank you for watching this episode of Music Crusaders. Thank you so much, Pulses, for being on. This was awesome. Thank you for putting up with my questions that came out of right, left, center field, and everywhere else. So.
I love them. Thank you for asking them.
Awesome. So thank you, Caleb, for being there and looking great and being on camera. So you look marvelous, man.
This one.
Everybody.
Both of them.
Thank you, David.
We try our best.
Name because my name's David too. So thank you for
Hey,
everybody.
hell yeah.
All right, we just need a Kevin and a Matt. We got the shit.
That shouldn't be too hard, right?
For that, I'm going to take us out of here. This has been Music Crusaders. We're out, everyone.